I stand here in front of you all, the words I'm going to share are not just for you, not just for your ears, but also for my heart. This is going to be a moment of self reflection and a promise to myself to stay committed towards my aspirations. Good morning, everybody. I am Porkalaivani, and today I am going to do something that I have never done before. I am going to confront. I'm going to confront my inner voices and self doubts. For most of my life, in terms of school life, I was that overachieving or academically gifted kid, doing well. I excelled in my classes, got good grades, wrote competitive exams, participated in extracurriculars, and played chess tournaments on the weekends. My days used to be busy and packed, but despite my schedule being demanding, I was used to achieving my goals. And through my eyes, I had a perfect life that was put together. After class 12, I got into my dream college at one of the top universities in India. I joined a few college societies, and eventually, I also got the opportunity to head two of them in my second year. I cleared my CA foundation exam in my first year. My life was going smoothly. If I were to phrase it better, it was going as I expected it to go. Despite thinking that I had a smooth life, I always had a nagging feeling that I never fit in. I'm used to hearing things like, she's a gifted child, she's perfect. But deep down, I always thought that no matter how others perceived me to be, nobody knew the real me. And just one mishap from my side will expose that real me. That real me was not worth all the praise. This was me and my thoughts. For instance, when I play against a chess tournament and lose against a higher rated opponent, I used to think, when I play in a chess tournament and win against a higher rated opponent, I used to think I won because they made a mistake or just luck was by my side. But at the same time, when I lost, I saw myself as a terrible player. This was just me and my thoughts. But the reality of how others saw me never changed despite a few losses. In college, I was surrounded by driven, passionate, and intelligent individuals coming from diverse backgrounds and regions across India. They were all doing well and seemed to know a lot more than me. Obviously, it was hard for me to not compare myself with them. And that led to me feeling that sometimes I'm the least capable person in the room, plagued by my self doubts and insecurities. For me, life took a turn in my second year. I failed my CA inter examination. It shook my confidence to the core. Overall, I was able to handle it quite well and I appeared for it again. But I failed again. Most of my identity being tied to academics, this created cracks in my self identity. It was followed by a shame because I was not able to do what I set out to do. Now I became my worst critic. Things inside my head and what I thought about myself became worst. It led to procrastination. It was easier for me to put off my chores rather than to face the reality of me not being able to meet my own expectations. It not only led to procrastination, but also made me over prepare at times. I used to think, maybe I'll just wait it out until I feel fully prepared. But if you ask me if I ever felt fully prepared, my answer is no. I never got that sense of full preparation. So whenever I have a test or a minor meeting coming at a later part of the day, I used to spend the entire day preparing for it and tending to the other tasks only when the event got over. Deep down, I knew I'm adequately prepared for that, but practically, there was nothing that I could do about it. When I have to present in my class, there will be a little voice at the back of my head saying, "You really don't know what you're talking about. You're not well prepared for that. Everyone will know how nervous you are." Most of the semesters, we used to have a section shuffle based on the electives we chose. And I rarely got into the class with my previous classmates. Being an introvert, the process of wanting to make friends in order to feel connected itself felt daunting. What if they find me to be not interesting or fun to be around? Everyone else have already seemed to have found their groups. And what if I don't fit in? Even when working on group assignments, I used to think, am I really adding any value here? Am I contributing enough? Negative self talk slowly and gradually started becoming a constant backdrop in my life. I started isolating myself, getting scared of social spaces and small talk. I started getting anxious even over small matters. And these unhelpful thoughts were tricking me into believing that this skewed view of myself that I have is the real view. At this point, I realized that I was struggling with self doubts and imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is that feeling where people tend to doubt themselves, downplay their potential, and dismiss whatever they have accomplished so far, despite putting a lot of efforts into it, to just luck or some external factor or even good timing. They get to a place or position, but despite being qualified enough for that, they feel they really don't belong in that place. I would like to bring in a quote here. The exaggerated esteem in which my life work is held makes me very ill at ease. I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindler. These are the words of Albert Einstein. Surprising, isn't it? The Nobel Prize winner, the one who developed theories of relativity, serving as a pillar for modern physics. Despite his groundbreaking achievements in science, he feared that he was deceiving people into thinking he was more capable than he believed himself to be. He saw himself as a swindler. This exact feeling is imposter syndrome. They feel that they are not capable as how people see themselves and only see and fear that one day they will be exposed as a fraud. One day, in a casual conversation with my mother, I happened to say her how I really felt about myself. She was really disappointed at the way how I thought about myself. She said, "You should be proud of whatever you have accomplished so far and not question your worth." Her words made me take a pause and prompted me to think about my 15-year-old self. I had big dreams and knew what I wanted. Because of that, I chose the commerce stream despite getting a centum in science because that was the path that aligned with my dreams. I topped my school in class 12 and got into the top commerce college of India. And as of chess, our team won the second position in under 17 nationals school games tournament. I was practically living the dreams that my 15-year-old self had set out for. I got into my dream college on merit basis, and that itself was a huge deal for me. But in addition to that, I was also ranked second in the entire university's sports quota for chess. I did earn my place in my college, but at the same time, I felt so out of place. Quite a paradox, isn't it? My mother also said me, "You didn't just dream. You did the work. You put your efforts into it, and you do deserve to enjoy the fruit of your labor." I did know that logically, but emotionally, it was a constant battle between whatever I have accomplished so far and the fear that one day it's all going to fall apart and everybody will know that you are not as good enough, especially after me failing my CA inter. My mother had to constantly remind me that one setback isn't going to erase whatever I have accomplished so far. This conversation that I had with my mother served as my own personal Bodhi tree. It helped me clear the fogged reflection of myself that I had been seeing the entire time to a more clearer one. I'm definitely sure that my 15-year-old self will be proud of what I am today. I moved from a small town to Delhi and adapted to the lifestyle there. Just like how I was at school, even in college, I involved myself in a lot of activities and put my best into it. Apart from college academics, I was also pursuing a professional course on the side and put my best to strike a good balance between them. Despite my initial setbacks, I never gave up and worked harder. I stepped out of my comfort zone, challenged myself to take up leadership roles and be visible. Despite all these, I saw myself as not enough because of the constant comparison that I was having with others the entire time. And the only comparison that matters is with myself. And I have improved. It took me a lot of reassurances from my parents, friends, well wishers, and others to only accept the fact that I had been having a very wrong notion about myself. Now, I tried to figure out why I felt so out of place. And I realized that I felt so because I was doing things that I have never done before and with people who are better than me. Zooming out and looking at the same but at a slightly different angle, I was doing the things that I have never done before and with people who are better than me. I was trying out new things that I have considered to be way out of my league. Isn't that truly awesome? From being a small town girl who had never stepped out alone, I managed to travel and live alone in a place where I didn't know the language well. I had to question back my inner voices. Did things become better just because I thought I was not good enough? Definitely not. It only added to the pressure. I had to take a step back to figure out what was holding me back. It was me all along. It wasn't my abilities, but the manner in which I viewed myself. And these unhelpful thoughts had hindered me for so long. If someone asked me if I view another person merely as their achievements, my answer is no. And it is rightful for me to view myself the same way, right? Nobody's worth is just their achievements, it is more than that. When I was given the opportunity to head a wing in my college society, my self doubts crept in, and I questioned myself if I was truly worthy to lead a wing. But I was I have to remind myself that I was given this opportunity because of my efforts and work that I had did. All I had to do was to embrace it with confidence and put a little more belief in myself. That is what everyone has to do. You have to put a lot more belief in yourself and believe yourself. Now, I stand before you not as someone who has conquered the challenges of imposter syndrome and self doubts. Self doubt is going to be a part and parcel of everybody's life, as it should be. But if we allow this fear to feed our sense of insecurity, to run irrationally, the very same can prevent us from doing the things that are going to benefit us. As I said already, I stand before you not as someone who has conquered the challenges of imposter syndrome and self doubts, but as someone who recognizes them. My journey with imposter syndrome and self doubts continue, but so does my commitment to change. I had to remove the perspective of too good to be true from my life. Nothing is too good to be true. Remember, if you find yourself in a favorable position, it is all because of your efforts. Your efforts matter, and so do you. You are more than your doubts. You are worthy. You are enough. Thank you.